So if you own an 09 to 18 Ram and you want some of the coolest and most modern looking headlights currently available, you should be checking out projector headlights with the black housing, these cool daytime running bars, and daytime running lights. If your truck came with halogen bulbs, these are going to be a great replacement upgrade. They do come with the projector, as you can see in the center here. And again, they have these really cool white LED accent lights that are daytime running lights. Now, what I really like about this setup is the fact that it is a blacked out housing. I think that looks really cool, especially if you're going with a blackout build. Maybe you got a black armor bumper or you replace that factory chrome grille with something a little darker. This will match up perfectly. And because it is a black housing with a clear lens, you don't lose any light output as you would with a smoked lens. This does put out plenty of light, as you can see. However, what I really like about projectors is it doesn't really give you that glare. That's really nice if you got a lifted truck and you don't want to annoy any other drivers on the road. These really do a great job of dispersing all that light output without actually shining it in anyone's eyes when you're driving around. Also, what I really like about this setup is regardless of what kind of lights your truck came with from the factory, this is a plug-and-play setup. The housing installs just like the original headlights do, and it has pigtail harnesses that connect with the factory wiring harness. So you don't have to do any custom wiring whatsoever. For that reason, I'm actually going to give this an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on my difficulty meter. You should be able to get these swapped out in about 30 minutes to an hour with basic hand tools. So if you like the way these projectors look, go ahead and stick around. I'm going to show you the install step by step. To install your new headlights, you will need the following tools: a drive ratchet and a 10mm deep socket. Optional but useful tools include an extension, trim panel removal tool, and an impact gun. So before we can install our new headlights, obviously we have to remove our factory ones. To get started, you're going to pull this plastic cover here for the radiator. Use a flathead screwdriver for the little plastic rivets, or you can use a trim panel removal tool like the one I've got here. All right, now that we have that plastic cover removed, our next step is removing our grille. There are 4 10mm head bolts securing the grille to the vehicle, as well as a couple of plastic ends. All you gotta do is gently tug on those to remove them. All right, so once you've pulled those bolts from the front of the grille, like I said, all you gotta do is apply some gentle pressure, pull the grille from the vehicle. It's just held in with plastic retainers on either side, so just take your time, make sure you don't break any of them. All right, with our grille removed, we can start pulling the hardware on the headlights themselves. There are 2 bolts securing the headlight to the vehicle on either side. It's a 10mm head bolt up here and the same down here. Now you can tackle this bottom one with a ratchet. If you're using a power tool like us, you might want to use an extension so you can fit inside there. All right, once we've got those 2 10mm bolts securing the headlight to the front of the vehicle removed, the last step is actually coming up underneath the wheel well here. Really convenient for us, there is a small plastic access here, and inside there's a plastic lever that you have to manipulate. That's the last piece holding the headlight to the vehicle. Now, accessing this little cover here is pretty simple. There's a little plastic retainer here. You might need a Phillips head screwdriver to pull it out, but most of the time you should actually be able to pull it out with just a little bit of hand pressure. All right, now it's kind of hard to see back there, but now that our headlight is removed, you can see this is that little plastic retainer that I was talking about. When it's securing the headlight, it's pushed down like so you're just going to want to push it up and the headlight will come out. Once your headlight's removed, it's time to unplug the wiring harness. All right, with our passenger side headlight removed, it's time to do the same steps to the driver's side before we install our new headlights. So now that we got our factory headlights off the vehicle, you can easily see the big differences between the original and the new lights. Obviously, the big thing that stands out here, and what's my personal favorite about these, is the fact that it's a blacked out housing through and through. What's really nice about this is you get that dark kind of smoked look without actually having to have a smoked lens. The lens on this is actually clear, just like your factory lens. And then moving along, you can see you got the accent LEDs here, your daytime running lights, which certainly adds another cool piece to the overall appearance. And then I also like the projectors because they really don't give any glare. However, they are still a hell of a lot brighter than the factory setup. Now, you can use the original high beam bulb from your original headlight. I'll show you guys how to swap that over. However, it's optional. You can obviously pick up a new one if you want to. The other thing that you're gonna have to reuse from your factory headlight is the socket for the turn signals. So let's go ahead and flip these around and I'll show you guys how to do that. Now to swap over the turn signal socket, it's really straightforward. You just gotta twist on it here, like so, and pull it out. Once you've done so, you're gonna remove the factory bulb, and this just pops out by hand too. Once you've done that, it's just a matter of plugging it into the new headlight. Take the bulb end of the socket and plug it into this fitting right here. And then once you've done so, just thread it into the new headlight. All right, once you've swapped over your factory turn signal socket, like I said earlier, if you want to swap over your factory high beam bulb, you can do so. It's the same process, you don't need any tools. You're just gonna pop the plastic cover, securing the light inside the housing. Once you do that, you're gonna pop it out of the connection and swap it over to the new connection. It's the same exact style. All right, once you got that socket and high beam bulb swapped over, you're gonna do the same exact thing to your other headlight before install. And again, I'm just swapping out the turn signal socket from the original headlight, popping out the bulb like so, and swapping it over to our new headlight. And we are gonna reuse our high beam bulbs from both headlights, so I'm also gonna swap that over from our original to our driver's side. All right, once both of our headlights are set up with our bulbs and sockets, it's time for us to install them. You're gonna go ahead and use the same connections on the truck as the original headlights. There's no custom wiring or splicing of any of that nature required to get these plugged in. Once we got our headlight wired up, it's time for us to actually secure it to the vehicle. You're gonna reuse both 10mm bolts on the top and bottom front here, and in the back, once you push it in place, you're just gonna feed your hand through that little access in the wheel well, and you're gonna go ahead and clip in that plastic retainer that we loosened earlier. So once you have one of your headlights installed, in this case it was our passenger side, it's a good idea to do a quick function check. You want to make sure that your accent and LED lights, your projector, and your high beam all work. Now with LEDs, polarity does matter. I'm referring to the orientation in which the connection actually plugs in. So if you plug in your headlight, you go to turn on your lights and nothing works, don't worry. All you gotta do is switch out the socket and the orientation in which it's plugged into the connection on the bottom here. Once you've verified that your first headlight works, you can go ahead and install your other side. Alright, so once both of your headlights are plugged in and tightened down with the original hardware, it's time for us to reinstall our grille. Again, you're just going to push it in place to those plastic retaining clips on either side, and then on the top of the radiator support, you're going to tighten it with those 10mm bolts we removed earlier. All right, with your grille in place and tightened down, go ahead and throw on that plastic cover for your radiator support. So as you can see, these do install quite easily. Again, no custom wiring needed, and you get to reuse all of your original hardware to bolt these up. And that actually wraps up my review and install of projector headlights with the black housing and those cool daytime running lights fitting your 09-18 Ram 1500. I'm Travis, thanks for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.